Welcome to the channel. I am Adit. Today I am going to say a well-known story called Mowgli Kills the Tiger. So let's get started. Mowgli kills the tiger. Now we must go back to the time when Mowgli had left the council. He left his cave after the fight with the pack at the council rock and went down where the villagers lived. He knew that he had to get far away from the jungle as he had made plenty of enemies at the council. So he kept running as fast as he could to get as far from the village as he could. He had crossed almost 20 miles till he came to a country that he did not know. At one end there stood a little village, and at the other the thick jungle. Mowgli walked on, for he was feeling hungry. When he came to the village gate, he saw the big thorn bush. He came to the big thorn bush that was drawn up before the gate at the twilight. He pushed it to one side. A boy saw Mowgli coming by and shouted, "Mowgli!" And everyone started running away. So men are afraid of the people of the jungle as well, Mowgli said to himself. He sat down by the gate. When a man came out, he stood up, opened his mouth and pointed down it to show that he wanted food. The man stared and ran back up the street of the village shouting for the priest. A big fat man dressed in white with mark on his forehead. The priest came to the gate, and with him at least 100 people who started talked, shouted and pointed at Mowgli. "There is nothing to be afraid of," said the priest. "He is injured. There are bites of the wolves. He is but a wolf child run away from the jungle." Of course, in playing together, the cubs had often nipped Mowgli harder than they intended, and there were white scars all over his arms and legs. But he would have been the last person in the world to call these bites, for he knew that what the real biting meant. 2 or 3 women came forward, seeing the injured boy. They were sad to look the young injured boy. "Let me look," said a woman with heavy copper rings on her wrist and ankle. She peered at Mowgli under the palm of her hand. "Indeed, he is not. He is thinner, but he has the very look of my boy who was taken by the tiger." The woman was Mesuswa, wife to the richest villager in the place. The priest then said, "Take the boy into your house, my sister." The crowd parted as the woman took Mowgli to her house. She gave him milk and some bread, and then she laid her hand on his head and looked into his eyes. She thought that he might be her real son, who came back from the jungle where the tiger had taken him. The lady kept calling Mowgli by name of Natu, and he kept pretending that he had never heard this name. Mowgli was uneasy because he had never been under a roof before. But as he looked at the thatch, he saw that he could tear it out any time if he wanted to get away, and that the windows had no fastenings. Mowgli decided that if he needed to live there, he had to learn their language as fast as he could. When the lady used to say something, he would try to imitate it almost perfectly. Before dark, he had learned the names of many things in the house. Mowgli was not in a habit of sleeping under a roof that looked to him as a panther's trap. When they shut the door, he went through the window. Mesusa's husband asked her to let Mowgli do things by his own will. Remember, he has never till now slept on a bed. If he is indeed sent in the place of our son, he will not run away. Mowgli stretched himself in some long green grass at the edge of the field and fell asleep. For 3 months after that night, Mowgli hardly ever left the village gate. He started learning the ways and customs of men. First, he learned to wear clothes around him, which he always found very difficult. Then he had to learn about money, which he did not in the least understand, and about bluffing, which he felt was of no use. The kids used to make fun of him as he would not play their games properly and sometimes mispronounce the words. Soon the priest suggested Mesusa's husband that Mowgli should be employed some work, and he was then appointed as the servant of the village. Bulio was a village hunter who had a tower musket. He smoked too much. The old men used to sit around the tree and talk and smoke big hookahs till far into the night. They told wonderful tales of gods and men and ghosts. Buldio used to tell wonderful tales of beasts in the jungle till the eyes of the children sitting outside the circle bulged out of their heads. Most of the tales were about animals. Mowgli's job was to take the cattle and the buffaloes for grazing and take good care of them so that no one might get lost or be attacked by Shere Khan. Mowgli went through the village street at dawn, sitting on the back of Rama, the great herd bull. The slaty bull buffaloes with their long backward sweeping horns followed him, and Mowgli made it very clear to the children with him that he was the master. He used to beat the buffaloes with a long bamboo. Usually he used to take the buffaloes to the edge of the plain. The eldest of the cub of the mother wolf used to come and meet him. They talked for several hours. Mowgli then came to know that Shere Khan had left the jungle for this season and would return when new fur grew back on him. It happened the day after day that Mowgli would lead the buffaloes to the same place, and the grey eldest brother would come to meet him up, and Mowgli always had the same question about the return of Shere Khan. One day, he did not see Grey Brother at the usual meeting place. Mowgli got worried, started taking the buffaloes back. But then he saw the Grey Brother hiding behind a tree. He was hiding past one mouth and crossed the ranges last night when tobacco. I guess he has returned back to the jungle, said the wolf. Mowgli frowned. I am not afraid of Shere Khan, but tobacco is very cunning. Don't be afraid, said the Grey Brother. I met tobacco at dawn. Before I broke his back, he told me about Shere Khan's intentions. Shere Khan's plan is to wait for you at the village gate this evening. When you come out with the buffaloes and nobody else is with you. At present, he is lying up in the big dry ravine of the Waingunga. Mowgli thought for a while and said, "The big ravine of the Waingunga? That opens out on the plain not half a mile from here. I can take the herd round through the jungle to the head of the ravine and then sweep down. We must block that end. Grey brother, can you do it alone?" But to Mowgli's surprise, his brother had brought someone along with him for help. It was Akela. Mowgli was delighted to see the old Akela, so the two wolves had to cut the herd into two. "Akela, keep the cows and calves together, and I will keep the bulls and the buffaloes," said the grey brother. The two wolves ran in and out of the herd and separated into two clumps. In one, the cow buffaloes stood with their calves in the center, and in the other, the bulls and the young bulls. But this went in vain, as all the animals started joining back. Then Mowgli slipped onto Rama's back. "Drive the bulls away to the left, Akela. Grey brother, when we have gone, hold the cows together and drive them into the foot of the ravine," said Mowgli, "till the sides are higher than Shere Khan can jump. Keep them there till we come down." The bulls swept off as Akela bade, and the grey brother stopped in front of the cows. They charged down at him, and he ran just before them to the foot of the ravine as Akela drove the bulls far to the left. "Shall turn them towards the jungle," shouted Akela. "Swiftly to do it," shouted Mowgli. The bulls were turned to the right this time and crashed into the standing thicket. The other herd children hurried to the village as fast as their legs could carry them, carrying that the buffaloes had gone mad and ran away. But Mowgli's plan was simple enough. All he wanted to do was to make a big circle uphill and get at the head of the ravine, and then take the bulls down it and catch Shere Khan between the bulls and the cows. He knew that Shere Khan would have taken up his meal by now, and after a meal Shere Khan would not be in any condition to fight or to be clamber up the sides of the ravine. He was soothing the buffaloes now by voice, and Akela had dropped far to the rear. They built up a long circle as they did not want to get near to the ravine, which would alert Shere Khan. At last Mowgli rounded up the herd at the head of the ravine. From that height they could see across the tops of the trees down in the plain below. "Let the cattle take a breather, Akela," Mowgli said, holding up his hand. "We have Shere Khan in the trap by now." Mowgli put his hand to his mouth and shouted down the ravine. It was almost like shouting down a tunnel. He wanted Shere Khan to know that he himself kept looking after him. After a long time there came back the drawling, sleepy snarl of a full-fledged tiger just awakened. "Who is it?" said Shere Khan. "I, Mowgli," shouted loud. The herd paused for an instant at the edge of the slope, but Akela gave tongue in full hunting. Mowgli ordered the stronger buffaloes to move forward. Shere Khan heard the thunder of their hoofs, picked himself up and lumbered down the ravine. looked from side to side for some way of escape, but the walls of the ravine were straight and he had to hold on. The herd splashed through the pool he had just left. Rama tripped, stumbled, and went on again over something soft, and with the bulls at his heels, crashed full into the other herd, while the weaker buffaloes were lifted clean off their feet by the shock of the meeting. One strong buffalo went and hit Shere Khan straight head on, and he fell. Mowgli watched this time and slipped off Rama's neck, laying about him right and left with his stick. Akela, break them up, scatter them, or they will be fighting one another, shouted Mowgli. Akela and the grey brother ran to and fro, nipping the buffalo's legs, and Mowgli managed to turn Rama. The others followed him to the wallows. Shere Khan needed no more trembling. He was dead, and the kites were coming for him already. Brothers, that was a dog's death, said Mowgli. A boy trained among men would never have dreamed of fighting a 10-foot tiger alone, but Mowgli knew better than anyone else how an animal's skin is fitted on and how it can be taken off. But it was hard work for him too. As soon as he reached the village and looked up, he saw Buldeo. The children have told the village about the buffalo stampede. Buldeo went out angrily, only too anxious to correct Mowgli for not taking better care of the herd. The wolves dropped out of sight as soon as they saw the man coming. Buldeo saw Mowgli carrying the tiger's skin on Rama. He knew that there was a reward of 100 rupees on Shere Khan's head. Buldeo said to Mowgli, "We will overlook your mistake of letting the herd run off, and perhaps I will give you 1 rupee out of the total reward money." Mowgli said, "I killed Shere Khan and you offer me just 1 rupee? Now it is in my mind that I need the skin of for my own use. It was not your luck and stupidity of the buffaloes that helped you out in this kill. If it had not been for your luck, you would have been lying yourself by now," said Buldeo angrily. Buldeo, who was still stooping over Shere Khan's head, found himself sprawling on the grass with a grey wolf standing over him. Mowgli then told Buldeo that it was very old enmity between Shere Khan and him. He finally won and didn't want the reward. To do Buldeo justice, if he had been 10 years younger, he would have taken his chance with Akela had he met the wolf in the woods. But a wolf who obeyed the orders of this boy who had private wars with man-eating tigers was not a common animal. He lay as still, expecting every minute to see Mowgli turn into a tiger too. Buldeo ran always to the village as fast as he could, looking back over his shoulder in case Mowgli should change into something terrible. When he got to the village, he told a tale of magic and enchantment which made the priest look very grave. Mowgli went on with his work, but it was nearly dark before he and the wolf had drawn the great grey skin clear of the body. "Now we must hide this and take the buffaloes home. Help me to herd them," Akela said. Mowgli.